Ever wanted to bake your own sourdough bread at home? Welcome to a culinary journey that's as fulfilling as it is flavorful. Today, we'll be walking through an easy, beginner-friendly sourdough recipe that you can make right in your kitchen. We'll cover everything from the ingredients you'll need to the steps on how to prepare your dough. By the end, you'll be well on your way to serving up your very own homemade sourdough bread. So, without further ado, let's dive into this delicious world of homemade sourdough bread. First things first, gather your ingredients. You'll need 4 ounces of sourdough starter at 100% hydration. Don't worry about feeding it first. Next, you'll need 12 ounces of water. It's best to use filtered water and not warm. The sourdough starter is the heart of your bread, filled with wild yeast and bacteria that will make your dough rise and give it that classic sourdough tang. The water will hydrate the flour, creating gluten which gives the bread its structure. Stir these two together until the starter is fairly evenly mixed into the water. Next up, flour. You'll need 18 ounces of bread flour, unbleached or all-purpose, and 2 ounces of whole wheat, dark rye, or whole wheat rye flour. The flour is the body of your bread, and the different types add unique flavors and textures. Now, for a little flavor twist, we'll add 1 tablespoon of caraway seeds. These tiny seeds bring a delightful, anise-like sweet and peppery flavor to your homemade sourdough, giving it a unique character. This may be departure from your classic sourdough, but once you've tried bread with caraway, you might never want to go back. Finally, a teaspoon and a half of non-iodized salt. Salt not only adds flavor, it also slows down the yeast fermentation, helping to control the rise of your bread. Now, start adding your flours, caraway seeds, and salt to the and starter mixture. Stir until all the dry flour is gone. Once all the dry flour is gone, knead for about 10 to 15 seconds to bring the mixture into a cohesive mound. This brief knead will start the gluten development, setting your dough on the path to becoming a beautiful loaf of bread. And let it rise. And there you have it, the first steps to creating your very own homemade sourdough bread with a delightful caraway twist. Now, patience is the key. Your dough needs time to rise. This is where the magic happens, where your mixture transforms into a delightful, pillowy dough. This process can take anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. Yes, you heard that right, it's a marathon, not a sprint. The real beauty of sourdough is in its slow, natural rise. As the dough rises, it develops a complex flavor profile that's unique to each batch. So how do you know when it's ready? It's simple. Your dough should double in size. But don't stress about timing it to the minute. Your dough is quite forgiving and can comfortably rest for 4 or 5 hours after doubling. Once your dough has risen beautifully, it's time to shape it into a loaf. Then let it rise again, this time in your baking vessel of choice, be it an oiled loaf pan or a Dutch oven. Once the dough has doubled again, it's almost ready to go into the oven. But remember, good things come to those who wait, so hold your horses, we're almost there. Get ready for the aroma of fresh-baked bread to fill your kitchen. As we approach the final stages of our sourdough journey, it's time to preheat the oven. If you're using a Dutch oven, don't forget to place it inside as well. Crank it up to a toasty 500 degrees Fahrenheit or 260 degrees Celsius. While the oven is doing its job, let's turn our attention back to the dough. It's time to make your mark, quite literally, by scoring the dough surface. This not only gives your loaf its unique signature, but also guides the bread in its final rise in the oven. Once your oven is heated and ready, carefully transfer your dough into the Dutch oven or loaf pan. Immediately dial down the temperature to 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 220 degrees Celsius. Now, let the oven work its magic. But how do you know when the bread is done, you may ask? The secret lies in the color and temperature. Your bread should sport a deep, golden brown color, and if you have a thermometer, the internal temperature should read between 205 to 210 degrees Fahrenheit. After your bread has achieved its perfect state, remember to let it cool fully before slicing. This allows the flavors to develop and makes for easier slicing. And there you have it, your very own homemade sourdough bread. Enjoy the fruits of your labor and happy baking.